Ever heard of a get-rich-quick scheme so massive it nearly destroyed the entire British economy and even managed to outsmart one of the greatest geniuses in history? We were talking about a financial bubble that sucked in everyone from lords and ladies to farmers and maids, and yes, even the man who discovered gravity, Sir Isaac Newton. This is the wild story of the South Sea Bubble, a tale of greed, hype, and a spectacular crash that left a nation in ruins. So set the scene. It's the early 1700s in Britain. The government is drowning in debt, mostly from years of expensive wars. They owe a staggering amount of money, and paying it back seems almost impossible. Enter the South Sea Company. These guys come up with a brilliant, or maybe just brilliantly deceptive, plan. They propose to take on a huge chunk of the national debt. In exchange, the government would give them a monopoly on trade with South America, which was then controlled by Spain. Now, here's the kicker. The name South Sea Company sounds exotic, adventurous, and incredibly profitable, right? People imagine ships returning from the New World, laden with gold, silver, and untold riches. The company masterfully marketed this vision. They painted a picture of a commercial empire that would dwarf all others. There was just one tiny problem. This trade barely existed. Britain and Spain were often at war, and even when they weren't, the trading rights were severely limited. The company was only allowed to send one ship a year, and even that was subject to heavy taxes. The supposed gold mine was more like a puddle. But facts rarely get in the way of a good story, especially when money is involved. The South Sea Company wasn't really a trading company. It was a financial machine. Their real business was selling their own stock. And boy, were they good at it. The share price started at around £128 in January of 1720. To fuel the hype, the company offered loans to people so they could buy more shares. It was like pouring gasoline on a fire. You could put down a small deposit, borrow the rest from the company itself, and buy stock that was climbing in value every single day. What could possibly go wrong? The public went into a frenzy. This wasn't just investors, it was everyone. People sold their homes, their land, their family heirlooms, all to get a piece of the South Sea action. The stock price skyrocketed. From £128, it shot up to over 300, then 500, then 800. At its peak in the summer of 1720, a single share of South Sea stock was worth over £1,000. It was complete mania. London was buzzing. Coffee houses turned into makeshift stock exchanges. Everyone had a hot tip, and everyone believed they were on the verge of becoming fabulously wealthy. This period was so crazy it even got its own name, the Bubble Era. Dozens of other ridiculous companies popped up, trying to cash in on the speculative fever. There were companies for making square cannonballs, for importing giant donkeys from Spain, and my personal favorite, a company described as being for carrying on an undertaking of great advantage, but nobody to know what it is. People actually invested in that. It was a time when logic had completely left the building. Now, let's bring Sir Isaac Newton into the picture. As master of the Royal Mint, Newton was no financial novice. He was a brilliant man, a giant of science and mathematics. He initially invested in the South Sea Company early on, and being a smart investor, he cashed out in the spring of 1720, walking away with a handsome profit of about £7,000. That's a huge sum of money back then, equivalent to millions today. He saw the irrational hype and got out. But here's where human psychology kicks in, proving that even a genius isn't immune to FOMO, the fear of missing out. After Newton sold, the stock price didn't crash. It kept climbing and climbing and climbing. Imagine watching all your friends and colleagues who stayed in become outrageously rich. The pressure must have been immense. He saw people with a fraction of his intellect making fortunes overnight. So against his better judgment, Newton jumped back in, and he didn't just dip his toe. He went all in, investing a massive portion of his fortune right near the market's peak. And then the bubble burst. It had to. The share price was based on pure speculation, not on any real profits or assets. In late summer, confidence began to waver. Insiders, knowing the company was a house of cards, started quietly selling their shares. Once the public caught on, panic set in. Everyone rushed to sell at once. The stock price collapsed even faster than it had risen. From over £1,000 in August, it plummeted back down to under 200 by December. The crash was brutal and swift. Thousands of people were financially wiped out. Fortunes built over generations vanished in a matter of weeks. The public was furious. They had been lied to, manipulated, and robbed. The scandal reached the highest levels of government, with many politicians having been bribed with company stock to support the scheme. It led to a huge political crisis, investigations, and the imprisonment of the company's directors. And what about Isaac Newton? He lost a devastating amount of money, reportedly around £20,000. That's the equivalent of many millions today. It was a crushing blow, effectively bankrupting him. For the rest of his life, he allegedly forbade anyone from even saying the words South Sea in his presence. The experience led him to famously remark, "I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people." It's a powerful lesson, isn't it? No amount of intelligence can protect you from the sheer force of a market bubble driven by mass hysteria and greed. The South Sea bubble became a cautionary tale for centuries. It showed the world the dangers of speculative manias, and how easily people can be separated from their money by the promise of easy wealth. It's a story that's been repeated time and again throughout history, from the Dutch tulip mania to the dot-com bubble and even some of the crypto crazes we see today. The details change, but the human psychology, the mix of greed, fear, and the desire to not be left behind remains exactly the same. So the next time you hear about a can't-miss investment that's going to the moon, just remember the story of the South Sea Company and the man who could understand the universe but fell victim to the madness of the crowd. It's a powerful reminder to always be skeptical, do your own research, and never, ever let FOMO guide your financial decisions. So here's the part of the story most people skip. Isaac Newton didn't lose money because he was stupid. He lost money because everyone around him was convinced they couldn't lose. The South Sea Company didn't sell a business. It sold a story. A story that said, "This is guaranteed. This is backed by the government. This is your once-in-a-lifetime chance." Sound familiar? People sold homes. They borrowed money. They chased prices higher, not because they understood the company, but because they were terrified of being left behind. Even Newton sold at a profit once. Then watched the price go higher, and like millions after him, he went back in. That moment, when logic loses to emotion, is where every bubble is born. When the crash came, fortunes vanished overnight. Careers ended. Lives were ruined. And Newton? He refused to ever speak about the loss again. But one line survived history. "I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people." 300 years later, the markets have changed, but human behavior hasn't. Different assets, different charts, same psychology. So the next time you hear "this time is different," remember the smartest man in the world once believed that too. If this story made you see modern markets differently, subscribe to HistoroMystic. Because history doesn't repeat to entertain us. It repeats to warn us, and the next bubble is already forming. Thanks for watching this deep dive into one of history's greatest financial disasters. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about the crazy moments that shaped our world, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what historical event you want me to cover next. See you in the next video.